Omar Khader is a Canadian citizen who, as a child, was brought to Pakistan by his father, who was affiliated with Al-Qaeda, and lived there in a Taliban-controlled territory. He was raised with some pretty radical points of view and spent some time on Osama bin Laden's compound. On July 27, 2002, when Omar was just 15 years old, a firefight broke out between Al-Qaeda and the American forces. Omar was detained by the Americans for allegedly killing Christopher Speer with a grenade. Omar was taken to Guantanamo Bay. He pleaded guilty to the murder and was sentenced to a minimum of 8 years in prison, with a chance to be sent back to Canada after 1 year. After spending 2 years in an American prison, he was then sent back to Canada to live the rest of his sentence there. He was released on bail in 2015. In 2017, Omar Khader successfully sued the Canadian government for $10.5 million and received an apology by the Canadian government. He stated that his rights were violated when he was in Guantanamo being interrogated by Canadian American forces because he was a child soldier. Who knew that in Canada terrorism could be so profitable? Now, to be fair to Omar, children are very susceptible to ideology and radicalization. I mean, even adults, grown men, entire countries are susceptible to radicalization and just bad ideas. Cults tend to target adults who are seeking authority and some sense of belonging, and it works. So as a child, I don't really think we can blame Omar entirely for what he did. I'm not sure. That does pose a pretty interesting question of when can we finally blame someone for their actions? I mean, everyone has a backstory. Is Omar's special? I don't know. But anyways, children are affected by radicalization even more than adults are because they don't really get a choice. They have to obey their parents. They're the only people who are taking care of them, feeding, clothing them, and when you're a child, you know very little of the world, and it's up to your parents to teach you how things are. And if your parent is one like Omar's, you might do some radical things. You might do something very stupid like he did. Omar's childhood was taken away from him, and that is truly a tragedy. I really feel for him, and I feel for lots of other people who have been in the same situation, but Omar killed someone else's child too. Christopher Speer is dead, and Omar is the one who killed him. Anyways, about this lawsuit, whether or not you believe that the Canadian government wronged Omar, the Canadian people did not. And our money is paying for the sins of Omar and his father, and I feel that's pretty unfair. Omar, if you're listening, not that you are, I would like to speak to you directly. I did not wrong you, and neither did the Canadian people. Your father, your family, your religious community, they are the ones who wronged you, not us. Don't make the Canadian people pay for the mistakes of others. Because now, what you are doing is you are directly taking the money out of the pockets of Canadians for something that they are not responsible for. I think it's rather funny that when you're 15 years old, you kill someone, you get detained, and then we have to fucking pay for it. I think that's rather ridiculous.
This whole media thing going on, the leak of some information regarding an apology.
Let me ask you about the apology. Why does that matter to you?
I think it restores a little bit my reputation here in Canada, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like, I never was angry or upset about what happened, but
Omar, if you are not angry about what happened, then why did you sue the government? We don't tend to sue people that we have forgiven. To me, when you say that you have no hard feelings and you are not angry about what happened, but then you still take legal action, This does not sound like someone who is trying to seek justice. This sounds like someone who's opportunistically taking money where they can.
It's been hard, finding jobs or going to school and stuff with my past reputation. So this is gonna help me move forward.
You say it's been hard because of your reputation. Can you give me an example, like what the kind of thing that's happened, or the way people view you?
A couple of times I apply for a job and people say, "Oh yes, yes," and then they come back and they don't want to do it for no good reason, my past reputation, so no good reason, my past reputation. So
well, you find it hard to find a job. Well, you won't fucking need one now, will you? Because you are a multimillionaire, and even most people, even if you were given back your life and you were above middle class and was never taxed, you would still not fucking come up with this money. So don't bitch and moan that you couldn't find a job.
What do you say to people who say you don't deserve the money?
I said we don't know anything about the money, and I can't say if there is or there isn't. Like for me, this is not a time for celebration. This is a time for reconciliation, remembrance, healing.
What, you need the money for self-help books or something? Because I'm pretty sure Eat, Pray, Love doesn't cost $10.5 million. It's probably like $12 on Amazon.
People have, there are some people who think you're a child soldier. There are some people who think you're a terrorist. Do you get that?
I do. People, we live in Canada. It's a free country. People are entitled, to make their own opinions, to voice their own opinions.
But what do you say to them about that? Either of those qualifications?
I said I'm not there to change people's opinions.
Every time you say you're not here to change someone's mind, all I hear is that I don't care what people think. Because when you say that, when this woman asks you what you think of the Canadians who don't think you deserve this money, and you say that you're not here to change their mind, to me that sounds like I don't care to change their mind. I don't care what they think. And you should care what they think, but of course you don't. You can fool yourself, you can't fool me.
The thing is, when you're young, you don't think about the morality of what you're doing or why you're doing it. When you grow up in an environment where these things are normal, you just do them. You don't, as I said, you don't think about the morality, you don't think about the rights and the wrongs. You just do whatever everybody else around you is doing. So I am a different person, but I think being the young person that I was, I could have easily been influenced with any surrounding I was in. So it's just unfortunate that I was in this particular.
Omar, if the government is responsible for the imprisonment of a child soldier, who made that child soldier? Who made who you were at 15? We didn't. If you want to check out a little more details with the story, because it is a pretty interesting story, I'll link the interview in the description below. If you want to read more about it, see more about it, I'll link some stuff in below. I'll link my sources. Thank you for watching. This is Shifty Rants. I'll see you later.